Oi, oi, vibes here.
I'm DJ Macca.
This is Paul Louise.
Hi, my name's Robbie Edwards.
My name's MC Hurricane.
I'm DJ Rave.
Hey, this is Mark Simon.
I'm John Edge.
MC Rave.
Stevie Wonder.
Hi, this is Bob Kane.
I'm Les Calvert.
I'm DJ City T.
Yes, this is the JFMC. You're listening to the Couture 303 podcast
With J Viper, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to a very special episode of the Couture 303 podcast. And we've got a bit of Rave royalty with us today. Ian Bland, also known as Dream Frequency, one of the original legends of the rave scene. Welcome to the show, Ian. How are we, mate?
How are we doing, Jay? You all right, mate?
Superb. So, for those who don't... Go on.
We got there.
I was going to say, for those who don't know, I first spoke to Ian, I think it was in January.
Was it 1931?
I thought it was 32, but yeah, you might be right. January at the Old School Takeover was the first time I bumped into Ian, and he graciously agreed to do the podcast. And obviously with busy schedules and stuff like that, and all the first world problems that we all encounter, it didn't happen. And then I bumped into him backstage at Reminisce, and I fucking shamed him into it. I got him by his fucking scruff of his neck and all that.
I did tell you though, didn't I? I said, listen, I am rubbish, so peck me. And then, honest to God, mate, I swear on my kids' eyes. I was looking at what I was like, fucking, I need to do that. I totally fucking forgot. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, yeah.
Listen, we're here now. No love lost. Thank you very much for doing the show. Thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to do this. So we'll crack on. As I always do with all my guests, we start at the very beginning. So Ian Bland, where and when were you born, mate?
I was born in 1965 and I was born in Preston, but I lived in Leyland. So I'm proper woolly, as you guys.
you know, wool, yeah.
I'm a proper dyed in the wool, mate.
We'll accept you because you do pretty good music. So yeah,
but we'll accept you. Right, I've been doing my family history, right? Look at me, I'm tagging on here. But I was doing my family history, and my great granddad was, I think he's from is it Kirkdale in Liverpool?
Yeah, Kirkdale, yeah.
Yeah. So
Kirkdale and Kirby.
Yeah, no, it was Kirkdale. I think it might have even been Lancashire back then. But yeah, so like my dad was saying, hey, please, all Liverpool, don't hate me, but I've always, my mum's from Manchester, so I've always been a United fan and a Preston fan. But yeah, we won't talk about, God knows, talk about football. But my dad said, hey, you do know that your great granddad's a Scouse? And I was like, no way.
We'll call you an honorary Scouse then. You're more than welcome in our city anytime you like it. You know.
Hey, honest to God, right? Fucking football rivalries. I love Liverpool, genuinely. Everybody that I've ever met has been absolutely sound, and I've got a lot of friends.
Got some knobheads as well. Like, don't get me wrong.
All have, mate. No, mate. All have. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yours are fucking absolutely top notch.
Okay, so what was your home life like? Have you got brothers and sisters and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I've got a younger brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and yeah, we used to go raving and misbehaving back in the day in the Blackburn parties and Hacienda and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, he's still here and all, got thankfully and all that. And he's funny, mate. He's like me, but he's just one liner. He's dry. He's one of them dry guys. Just comes out with a one liner. But yeah. So I've got one brother, and my mum and dad are still going. Like my dad's 90 now, and my mum's 83. You wouldn't even tell, mate. I mean, my mum's got she's had a knee done and all that jazz, but I'm thankful that they're still rocking, mate. So
to be fair, mate, did you say 1965? So that would make you 58.
I'm 58, fucking smoking mirrors, mate. I mean, this comes off at night.
I'm the same. You know, I get accused of having a fucking wig in work, and fucking you had an hair transplant. I fucking haven't, you know.
It's boss though, isn't it? Because you can fuck off, you boss. Yeah.
There's lads in work half my age who haven't got a fucking nothing like that. Like,
I don't know about you, though, Jay, right? But like when I was younger and everybody started going out, I always felt like I was kind of, I don't know, just like 3 years behind the curve because I was a late developer. So like, mate, I was getting my age asked up to 24 easy. Yeah, so like, a lot of my circle of friends who you grew up with, me older guys who I went to school with, they were off the pub, and I couldn't even get a look in. Even when I was 18, I was like, I'd set my passport. I was like, I can't be arsed with
Isn't it worth it now?
Oh yeah, we're reaping the fucking benefits now.
They're all walking around with fucking shiny heads now, going, look at that cunt there. He's still got a fucking full head of hair. So what was school like for you then? Were you academic?
Do you know what? And this follows me into it's just my personality. But all my reports, even when I look back at my report, Keats reports, it's just Ian is very conscientious.
Yeah.
He's always done that, and it must be something in me that, you know, when you analyze yourself as you get older, you look at the world with a lot of wisdom, don't you? And you can be a little bit less harsh on yourself and all that jazz. But I do, you know, in music and everything, I do just want to do my best. I compete with myself. It's like, you know, when we was playing the night for the guys in Liverpool, and even the night what I've just done with the Blackburn lot, Tommy, this weekend, the High on Hope in Gisborne Forest, that was meant. But I spent, and Rob's the same, my best mate, Rob Teixeira, you know, you analyze yourself like, because you care and you want to do your best and you're competing with yourself. So I was studious, but not in any smarmy, geeky way. I just wanted to do my best, but I was dead, mate. Junior school, I felt like I was one of the we're only like up to 10, but I was one of the lads. And then, to be honest, senior school, fuck me, the first couple of years I was like, because you're getting thrown in, you know, like I say, I was pretty small, good at footy and all that, so I was good with that aspect and getting in on sport and that. I was really quiet in secondary school, and it's only towards the end of secondary school when you're one of the older ones that you feel like you can relax. But you know yourself, I don't know about yourself, but you're thrown in like you're this little dot, and then you've got lads who are out, probably some of them in the pubs, and you're like,
fucking muzzies and all that, haven't they? You know what I mean? And they tower over you, little fish in a big pond.
Oh, don't even mention the showers. Get in that shower.
I only got my first pube last year.
Mate, exactly.
It was in a fucking trifle though, but never mind. So what were your musical influence then growing up? You had to get into like your Gary Newman and your electronic stuff and stuff like that, wasn't you?
Oh, right, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, when you're younger, you know, you buy all sorts of shit. Boney M, you know, your mum buys record and all that. And I've got like good memories of all that. But then when I first started getting into music, as you know, electronic music, and I was 15, and there was just something about Gary Newman. I mean, I was too young to be into Bowie and that, but I know he'd come before. But it was just this, Our Friends Electric. I heard it on the radio, and then my mate bought the album, the first one. I was like, fuck me, this is just, what the fuck's this? This is just.
It literally was groundbreaking though at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously been into Newman for a lot of years, and I still, you know, listen to stuff, and I'll go and see him occasionally and that. But I've listened to his biography, and he was just winging it. You know what I mean? He didn't really think I'm groundbreaking. He just saw this synth, and then he was like, "We need to use this because it sounds amazing," and by default. But it just blew my mind. And then when I was 15, I went to see my first ever concert was him in 1980 in Preston doing this. It was called Teletour 80. And I know it's been surpassed now where you've got Deadmau5 and Prince and all these fucking videos. But at the time, it was just this light show that I've never seen. He comes on with a fucking jumpsuit and like a fucking alien with fucking red strap. We were just like, this is mental. And it just changed me. It just absolutely. So I was obviously getting into Kraftwerk, Human League, Ultravox, OMD, all them electronic bands. So I didn't really have the funk side of me, but then another mate of mine sort of played me some electro at the time, you know, like I can't name some electro artists like Soul Sonic Force and all that. You know what I mean?
African Bambaataa and stuff like that. You mean?
Yeah. So I was listening to this tape of that, and I was thinking, well, that's electronic, but they've took the sort of the roots of like your Newmans, your Kraftwerks, especially Kraftwerk. But it's got like a fucking dance, but it's got a funk to it. So that was really influential. And then, so obviously I left school and I was lucky enough to get an apprenticeship at British Aerospace. So I ended up as an aircraft electrician, and it was really good. I ended up working on like the flight line side of it. Which is a bit like being in the RAF. You know, you'd be in the hangar and you'd be wiring, and then other times you'd be on the flight line, fucking seeing them off like jets and stuff. It was mental. But I was a bit bored. I was in my early 20s, and I was like, I thought, this is showing me age. I can either get a ZX Spectrum while away the hours, you know, and my mate went, no, I've just got this little synthesizer. It's a Casio CZ101. So Casio were bringing out these synthesizers, and he went, go to the shop. You can get it on HP. And I was like, go on then, fuck it. And I got it, Jay, and I'm not joking. I was like, fuck it. Hell. Then I got a drum machine. This was before house music. So at that time, we were into Depeche Mode, really big style, and then Erasure and all that kind of stuff. Black Celebration was out, and it was like groundbreaking sampling and all that jazz. So, and then it just built up, and then obviously house music came out, and then I started trying to make house records, which were, mate, and I don't know if I've got any of my early stuff, but I wouldn't call it house music.
See, for a music producer, playing the old sax is like getting the old photos out, and they go, "Oh no, don't fucking show them that one."
Look at them, look at the flares, look at the fucking flares.
Look at me here, fucking fringe like that. Look at your hair out your eyes.
You know what, right? Me and Rob always do that because we obviously besties, Rob, Sarah. I'm honest, we giggle about like all them 80s times, and then when we're doing it, we do that mock 80s.
So everyone had one eye. Everyone was like Gabrielle back in the fucking 80s, weren't they? Flock of seagulls and all that.
Brilliant. But even with the footy stuff as well, do you remember when like they had like the kind of mushroom hairdo with the still had that going on? Brilliant.
So you'd started getting into the musical side of creation, and then obviously the rave scene kind of crept up out of left field, more or less. I mean, it kind of came from nowhere, the rave scene. So were you aware when that came about that was something you were going to get involved in?
I didn't know I was going to get involved in it, but my first soiree into, and it sounds like fucking Phoenix Nights, does it? My brother goes, Ian, there's this, I swear to God, it was something like, they're playing this stuff called house music, right? And it was at this club called the Park Hall in Charnock Richard, right? And there was a guy, I've got to give him a shout out. He never, ever gets a mention. And I think he's kind of dropped off the face of the earth a little bit. But there was a guy called Phil Meredith, right? And he used to play at the Park Hall. And he was a top DJ. And he had to play commercial, but he could see this house music coming in. So we went, and it'd be about 86 or something like that. And Steve Still Curly and all them tracks were coming out. I'm going in, and it's half commercial club. So he'd play like bloody Luther
and Waterman stuff.
Yeah, but Luther Vandross as well and all that. Yeah. And then he'd just have a mad half hour of playing Jack Your Body and like some acid house. Well, that was coming in a little bit later on. So I was looking around and I'm like, fucking hell. I mean, my brother could jack, mate. He could pop it. He's better than me. You know when you try it in the left feet, I think. And so I was thinking, fucking hell, this shit's really good. And obviously I had the equipment, so I'm starting to try and make, but honest to God, back then, we didn't know how they were making it, what kind of synths, what kind of drum machines and all that. And it was a massive learning curve. You know, and it's, I mean, it is so easy, and it's refreshingly so easy to do a track now. But back then, mate, you know, these 909 drum machines, I had a sampler. I actually got a sampler. So anybody who don't know what a sampler is, you get about 10 seconds on this to sample sounds live or, you know, whatever, or get stuff on a disc. And somebody gave me a disc of a 909 drum machine, and it was just like, oh, kid, hell, mate. Yeah. All that was going on. So, yeah, it was an education.
There's two ways to look at that, I suppose. I mean, obviously, we're talking like late 80s now, way before the internet and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So you had no knowledge base to go from, but you also had no comparisons to make. So you could make what would now be classed as a shit track, whereas in the 80s, it was still groundbreaking because there was nothing to compare it to. And there's some DJs like that. You look back at some DJs, I know some DJs from like the mid-90s, and we used to fucking look like they were gods. You listen back now and go, they were actually that good by today's standards, but they were groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we've listened to, you know, got a foot further on a few years, but I love listening to tapes or recordings of DJs who've, you know, like when we used to go into the Orbit quite a lot in the sort of, you know, 92, 93, 94, and they were just starting to switch it from rave to sort of techno and spend bath and all them. But like listening to John E. Block from Eastern Bloc, and he was playing boss tunes, but you could hear him fucking fighting to get them. I love that. I mean, even, I'll be honest with you, even now, unless it's a falling down the stairs mix, if I ever do a mix, you know, a mix cloud mix, if there's a little mistake in there, you know, like something like, do it again. I'm like, no, fuck that, because I want it to be like, yeah, he fucked up a bit there, but
it sounds more real as well. I mean, I've fell into the trap now. I've got the radio show on In Demand, and all my radio shows are put together on Ableton, so all the mixes are tight.
yeah,
And it's not real. It's. I almost feel disingenuous, but I haven't got the time to fucking go on my decks, like you say.
that's
45 minutes into a 60-minute mix, and you think, oh, fucking start again. You've just
Yeah.
wasted 45 minutes. You know, the beauty of Ableton is if you make a mistake, you can just click, change it. There you go, done.
Yeah. People want to hear perfection. I think that's when you play out live, you can get more of a vibe, can't you? You know what I mean? You can make a mess.
Well, it's a funny one for me because obviously I class myself as a live DJ. I think I thrive on a live environment. I'm quite active and quite entertaining to watch. Some have said. So whereas the mixer might not be as clinical and as perfect as it was on the radio show, you get more when you see me play live because I'm scratching and having a little mess around and all that kind of stuff, and fucking around with the effects and stuff. So it's a bit of a mad one for me, that. So you started making music, the rave scene started to come along. Where did Dream Frequency come into it?
So it was a weird one because I started to make these tracks. And then there was a radio show on Radio Lancashire, which isn't the hippest, it's serious, not, it's proper pipe. Yeah. But there was a guy called Gary Hickson, and he was sort of like started to play sort of house music. Obviously, there was Stu Allen, mate. God bless his soul.
Oh my goodness.
Fucking hell. It's very, very sad. And I'll come to another thing that is a bit of a bubbler as well, because I saw him on his last gigs and whatnot, but I'll come to that. But we used to listen to Stu Allen. It was literally, I don't know what it was like in over your way, but we, in Leyland, in Langs, you were literally getting an aerial and fucking like that, and then
we've had that conversation on here before. Yeah,
we did, yeah. And you'd be getting an aerial to get him, and I knew, he was on quite late when he was still sort of breaking all the new tracks and stuff. So it was literally, you had a 90 tape was the most, so you'd have a 45, and then you'd set your alarm because I'd work next day at 6:30 to get up and bloody blah. And then you'd turn it over and then go back to sleep and then listen to it in the brew time. So there was all that. Well, Gary Hickson had a guy, and I must have just tuned in this one week, and he had a guy called Nick Hawkes on, and he was setting up this new label called City Beat, and he was sort of saying, if there's anybody who's got any tapes or whatever, send him in. So I scribbled this down, sent him some of my tracks, absolute dog shit. But he phoned me back. He actually took the time to phone me and go, hi, it's Nick, got your tracks. Not quite what we're looking for, but mate, keep going. And I was just, I was gobsmacked, you know what I mean? That he'd
it's
actually
inspiring as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and we'll go on to talk, if you let me go on to talk about Nick Oates, because he's such a top guy and a mentor, and he signed the Prodigy and things like that, and he manages Liam now to this day, and he's still a really good mate, and he's down to earth, but he just has that in him, you know what I mean? That kind of that about the music, and the fact that he fucking phoned me, I was like, no way. So I kept sending him and all that, bearing in mind I'm working at aerospace as well. I've got the fucking my neighbour, fucking turn it down. I've got my dad going, turn that bloody shit down. I mean, when it was going well afterwards, they were so proud, obviously.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, when you can imagine, you're trying to watch, he's like, fucking hell, all you can do is
yeah.
So I was doing that, and then I just kept sending him tracks. And I remember this one time, I sent him Live the Dream. I'd made Live the Dream, and it was kind of influenced more off like listening to Detroit techno and the bleepy stuff that was coming out with Unique 3 and all that Sheffield sound and all that. And I said, and I phoned him. I don't want to keep hearing Peter Kane. I'm on a payphone here, love.
My pips are going.
I was, mate, seriously, I'd like putting me 2Ps in, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, is Nick there? Yeah, secretary, I'll just get him. Yeah, and obviously he's fucking, come on. And then, why is he on the phone? Why is he not waiting? All that. And he said, he says, I really like this one. And then he said something really weird, like, so we're chatting away, and he goes, well, what do you want me to do with it? And I was like, right. Sign it? And he went, yeah, I'm going to sign it. So I was like, fuck off, I've got a record deal. It's like, fuck off. So what he did then, though, he made it organic because he didn't want it to look like City Piece had just put it out. So he pressed some white labels, and then I had to take the white labels to shops like Warp and Eastern Bloc and all, and Crashing Leeds and all these shops in the northern things that I could scope. And that was like, I mean, yeah, when there's nothing worse any musician if you're playing somebody a track, even now you're like, somebody who you really look at, you're like,
yeah,
gets good in a minute, gets good in a minute.
Why did I make this intro so long?
I'll just fast forward it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Anyway, so I remember the first couple of record shops I walked into. I went into Crashing Leeds, and I think they took them on, what do they call it? That's the one. That's the one. So they took about 5. I was thinking, fucking hell, that's a good start. Went into Warp, and no disrespect to Warp, but the guy he said, yeah, we've got to go upstairs. So I go upstairs, there's 3 of them. They all look at you. Okay, honestly,
yeah.
He just did that DJ one where they go,
oh,
and you're going, and then he just goes, yeah, we're not really into this kind of stuff. We're more into new groove, but we'll take a couple. And I was just thinking, you fucking it's like, but what? Yeah. So then I went to Eastern Bloc, and I seen John at Eastern Bloc, John Berry, and I put it on, and they were like, fucking hell, this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll take 20, and fucking bring them back and blah blah blah. And I said what happened to Warp, and he went, oh fuck them, they don't know.
Yeah. Don't know the last one, elbow.
No disrespect to Warp because they're legendary, but you know what I mean. They were just into this kind of, I think, proves this American sort of house kind of stuff. So I get it. So then, it became like, and Stu supported it. Stu Allen played it, and it just became like a really underground record. And like, Mark, who I know, Mark from Alternate, Mark Archer, he still cites it as one of his thingy. And it's just weird after years because everybody knows me as like Dream Frequency, Rave, big pianos. And is it Carl Brenner? He's like a massive techno DJ, cited Live the Dream in his top 100 all-time techno. It's just mental things like that. And I just did it in my bedroom, with a 303, so, and sounds and all that. So
303? I've never heard of one.
I've never heard of them. No, you might catch on.
Yeah, it's a catchy little name, that 303. That might fucking write that down with pencil.
Yeah. But, so that was kind of, my break really. And then Nick came up and I met him, and then he started XL Records. And then the track after that, because I'd done that, and they were after building a label, but they were desperately after a hit. And then because I do flit around with styles, probably to my detriment sometimes, but it's probably me just I just like to try things. But people like to. They can't. If you're an act and then you suddenly do a soul track, they're a bit like, well, I'm not really. Yeah. Unless they go on that journey with you, But I was doing it quite quick, so I was trying to find my feet. So I got. I was listening to Soul, and I had this track called Love, Peace and Harmony. I wrote all the words, blah blah blah, and then this singer. I was looking for a singer at the time, and somebody said Denise Johnson. And I don't know if anybody knows that, but she went on to sing for Primal Scream, and unfortunately she died a few years ago. Bless her. And but she went into the studio. I was recording Preston because I didn't have a setup as such to record vocals. And the guy who used to record for her, he just went, "Fuck it." We just stood there. She did it in I think one take, and maybe a couple of ad libs, and he went, "Ian, she's the best singer I've ever had." She was fucking absolutely amazing. So then I gave him this track. Like I do, I had past records on. Fuck me, mate. Fucking Ian, this is we want to give you an album deal. Deal. It's gonna be a hit. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm at Aerospace. I'm like, play it. And I remember playing the lads at work because they were interested in my career, but I don't know if they took it serious.
Yeah.
What Blandy? Well, we're with you, But when I played them you could see some of the guys in the brute, they were kind of, fuck me, Blandy. That's
actually decent. That's
actually decent. You're trying to get your head around an underground track, I can imagine. But so then it was starting to get played on Radio 1 with Steve Wright and all that. And because it was called Love, Peace and Harmony, this is bizarre. We were at the Gulf War. We'd just gone to war with Iraq, right? And Radio 1 banned it because it was called Love, Peace and Harmony. God. Can you even get your head around that? But in a way, it all works out in the end. So then it got to like in the 60s. Not that that was the be all. I didn't make music to go, I wanted, but you wanted something to do well, don't you?
Yeah.
So that was that. And then I was thinking, oh, fuck shit. So they gave me this album deal, and then I started writing, and then I found Debbie Sharp. I remember leaving. Oh, and at the same, sorry, I digress. But at the same time, I was starting to do PA, so it was kind of going like this. So I was at British Aerospace, absolutely living the fucking clubbing and rave life, coming guys like that and fucking like that, and then still doing my job, and then doing sort of PA. So it was all sort of organically building. And mate, we had some shocking PAs, and we had some brilliant ones, and you know what I mean. It was proper treading the boards.
But again, it's a comparison thing. There wasn't much to go off back then, I remember being in the Pleasure Dome in Birkenhead, and we had like the Ultimate Buzz and the Casio Brothers and Strike and stuff like that. And some of them, we had the best time ever. They wouldn't cut it today. There was nothing like. I mean, obviously you had the likes of Ultrasonic. Who fuck me? I think if you put Ultrasonic from the late 90s as they were on a stage now, it'd still fucking smash it.
Oh,
mate. Put maybe Casio Brothers or Ultimate Buzz on a stage from then. Now, I don't think it really cut the mustard as much as it would back then.
But you're triggering little memories here, and I love these conversations because it's a journey for me, mate. And I love doing them, honestly. I love doing it because you're thinking, fuck me, yeah. So back then as well, I did a gig in Leeds, right, in the warehouse, and there was a guy. I don't know if I think he's got a future. Laurent Garnier.
Rings a bell.
It rings a bell, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's quite a catchy name, that. Might have crispy bacon for me tea, actually. Anyway, go on. I digress. The Couture 303 podcast is now officially sponsored by Dapper Turkish Barbers in Hunts Cross. You can find them on Woodend Avenue, and they do the full service there. The hair, the beard, the ears, the nose, the cutthroat, hot towels, the lot. It's the only barbers I ever go to. Fantastic service, great lads. No need to book, just pop in and see them 7 days a week. If you want a nice sick fade like mine, you will not be disappointed. The absolute best in the area. That's Dapper Turkish Barbers, Woodend Avenue, Hunts Cross. And now back to the show.
So anyway, I just done this PA of like Live the Dream and Satisfaction and a few other Dream Frequency tracks. And Tony Annan, he goes, oh, Laurent wants to book you. He wants you to do these little club in Paris. And I was just green as fuck. And I'm like, I don't know, Tony. What do you think I should do? And he went, do it.
Fucking bites his hand off.
So, I mean, Laurent was just like, and the scene in France at that time, it was just, house music wasn't even known. It was just in small little gay clubs in Paris. So long story short, me and Laurent became really, really good friends, mate. And we ended up doing, and little known fact, right? And I'm like fucking Billy Connolly. Oh, I was just saying. And I'm coming back. So he was playing at the Quad.
Yeah.
So he got us on at the Quad, but he was playing at the Quad this night. And the first ever track, and he says this in his book, the first ever track that he ever made was with me. And it was an acid track. And I love this. This is why people like him get to where they are, because he didn't give a fuck. He was just, no, we're going to do it. And we recorded it on a tape, and he played it off a fucking tape in his mix, this acid track.
The French Connection.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't that. It was one before
that.
Yeah. It was some just mad acid track that he went, I'm good to play this tonight.
Thought he'd walked in then.
He was like he's in the room. No, he had a Manc accent, Laurent, and it was just bizarre because I'd be in the studio with him and he'd be like, obviously, he's spoke really good English and that. And then he'd just get a phone call. He's like, bizarre, innit?
So my go-to club, and anyone who listens to this podcast will know this anyway. Like my go-to club was the Drome in Birkenhead. Yeah, the first time I ever went to the Drome in Birkenhead was November '94, and I went there specifically to see DJ Tricks, and he wasn't on. But guess who was on? Laurent Garnier.
No way!
And what a fucking night that was! I remember it blew my mind because I didn't know who Laurent Garnier was in 1994. I just heard he was France's number one DJ. And what an absolutely fantastic night it was.
I'm writing here down because I'll forget. Laurent, gig advice. Yeah. Well, no, I've seen Laurent. We went over to him. So we went over. I mean, this is the scale of it. Like you said, there was no phones then.
Yeah.
You were literally no mobile phone. So obviously he's been over and we've bonded, and he says, yeah, come over. So no, I don't think he'd even been over to ours then. but I've had a lot of conversation with him on the telephone and whatnot. And he goes, all right, well, here's my address, here's my number, give us a ring, like one. So we get in it, we've hired a car. There's two dancers from Preston, me two dancers, my ex-missus, and yeah, that sounded a bit that sounded like, let's not go there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I washed my hands and we did the show.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're in the middle of Paris in this car, and then we find this payphone. I phones up and there's no answer, and I'm like, fucking shit. I'm in the middle of fucking Paris. What the fuck?
Bonnie Tyler lost in France.
Innit? Oh, me. So I rings him again, and then he answered. He goes, yeah, I'll come and pick you up. So then we played these really small, hardcore gay clubs, right? And there was no LGBTQ. It was like, right, you're gay guys, you're all in this little club in it, but it was proper hardcore.
Yeah.
And listen, I've got loads of gay friends and everything. I have total respect and whatever, but it was proper guys to hit on other guys. They were like, one of them, I'm just gonna go behind my keyboards and wait till I go on, blah blah. But they were lovely fucking people, like, and they were well into the house music and the underground house music. And Laurent gave me a piece of advice. So I played 2 nights in a row. So the first night, I just got on my keyboards, didn't really say out on a mic or anything. I just like did my stuff, and it went down all right. And he went, Ian, I'm going to give you some advice now. He goes, if you've got that mic there, and I'll never forget, he goes, you got to get them going. He goes, you got fucking come on. So I thought, right, I'm going to try that. Yeah. So train for it, it fucking get out, and it was and it just elevated.
Yeah,
it was a small club and it was elevated, and I've never forgot that. And obviously, to this day, anybody who sees me, I have to connect with the crowd. I'm not an MC who goes fucking blah blah. And every respect, if you want to do that, blah 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 blah. I'm not like that, but I like to just engage with them. And not every DJ can do it. And some DJs might think, or some people might think it's not cool, but it's situational. Like, I'm not going to fucking shout oggy in a fucking cool thingy, but you've got to do it. Shades do it, and a lot of the people. And he taught me that, and it's part of me when I go out DJing. I feel like I have to connect at some level vocally, and it just works for me. So he gave me that advice, mate. You know what I mean?
Look at it as well, because obviously some PAs have an MC, and some PAs like yourself, the musician does the vocal side of things, and I think your side works better because it's like, if you're a DJ MC, you know what's going on. If you're an MC for a band, you're not connected to the music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I think the way you do it is better. I'm not a massive fan of MCs anyway. Some are fantastic. It's not a skill I can do. It's a real art form. But as you just alluded to there, some guys like to fucking waffle on, and it can get a little bit. The analogy I always use is, you can have chips on their own, and some people like tomato sauce and some people don't. Nobody likes the whole bottle of tomato sauce on the chips. It ruins the chips.
Mate, that's an ace analogy, mate. That is brilliant. You must have seen that video of Stu. There's a video of Stu Allen from a few years ago, and he's like, it just cuts this MC. This MC's going, there's 2 of them wanting to get back. And then he just pans and Stu Allen's just going.
That's the side of MC and I hate. And he passes it to him and he's just going.
Yeah.
Smackheads around the fucking crack pipe, isn't he?
Oh, mate, it's funny, but it's not. That's not me being bag. I'd say it's more like a host for a night, innit? When you feel the time.
That's the word, Ian. It's a host. You're meant to host. It's not about you. It's not the MC show.
No, not
as an MC. You're meant to announce the DJ, hype up the crowd, big up the DJ, and occasionally put a little bit in now and again. Not empty the fucking whole sauce bottle. But anyway, so we're going to go back just slightly now. So, Feels So Real.
Yes.
Charted. Where are we here? Let's have a look. Number 23 in the UK charts. This isn't the Beatport dance charts. This is the actual fucking charts, wasn't it?
So, well, yeah. So swerving all right. So we found Debbie, and I'd left British Aerospace. I'd tried another singer, and then I hadn't got all the money for the album deal. So my house was still going a little bit, thinking, have I made the right decision here? But I was still doing gigs. So then, I found Debbie, and Nick didn't like some of the tracks that I sent. And I was like, oh, shit. So then Debbie had been in the studio and I got her to sing all these stuff. And Feel Surreal was actually an ad lib. So I wrote this other song, and in the middle of it, I remember being in this studio and saying, it might have been a Sylvester kind of connotation where you think, and I was like, what about You Make Me Feel Sorry? So Nick didn't like this track. So I went away and just thought, right, I need to remix this. So I remixed it, and I just kept coming to this word, Feel Sorry. And I thought, that's the chorus. So I sent him that and he loved it. So I finished the album. That went all right. We were in then. And then I remember the day it charted because it went in at 29, and that was that. And then we were listening. We'd done some like 3 or 4 gigs in a weekend. It was in every weekend, and we were in Great Yarmouth, and there was 2 cars of us, right? Because me guy who booked the gigs, Solomon, my agent guy, he was there as well, and he was top guy. So we're snaking our way back through Great Yarmouth, and we're listening to the chart show, and it's going 29, blah blah blah, 26, and we're like, fucking hell, we've dipped out here, we've dipped. And then he goes, and up from 29 to 23, Feel Sorry, and we were like, fucking. I mean, it's not the be all and end all, but when you've grown up with fucking things like Top of the Pops and shit like that, so I'm like, fuck me. So Monday morning, I get to call Ian, yeah, Top of the Pops. They want to know if you want to go on, and I was like, let me think of it. No, I was like, yeah, fucking
right.
like fucking hell, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, you know, and it was being played. And me too. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. So me 2 dancers, mate, they're Joanne and Josephine. They were fucking mint. They were 16 when they joined us, and they travelled the fucking world with us, mate. They grew up with us, like, and we had such a laugh. And they're from Liverpool. Yeah, they were from Liverpool.
Yeah.
But they were telling us before, like, you know, this track's going to blow up here. And, you know, she said, I was in Liverpool in the HMV and they were playing it. And one of the girls I heard goes, oh, I fucking love this track. So the signs were there, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So then, we ended up doing Top of the Pops. It was truly bizarre because you go to Elstree Studios and they give you a dressing room, and it's like a circular kind of building. And honestly, mate, I was just a little bit rabbit in the headlights. And I was in my dressing room. I was probably smoking at that time. And this is another thing. I mean, everybody had a little toot then. I mean, we was fucking smoking. I mean, the fucking balls on these kids to fucking... And they never said out. They're running... like, fucking hazer, fucking... It must have just been like...
all the kids in the audience getting ugly.
So they all went off. You went, oh, if you want anything to eat, just go in the BBC canteen.
Do we ever?
Well, no, mate. They all fucked off, right? And I was a bit nervous, and I was thinking, no, I'll just stay here, right? And I remember me MC at the time, because he was like fronting us. I used to do obviously stuff on the mic, but Earl, my mate, a black guy from Preston, like, and he was more into his hip hop, but he was a really good front man. You know, when you were doing some of the PAs, you just needed, like, I could do it, and I've learned to do it a lot more now. But you sometimes just need that extra. Just when Debbie were on, you needed that extra, just fucking dimension, just to, you know. But he
bridges the gap as well between like the keyboards and the crowd. It closes the gap, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I remember him coming back, Jay, and he went, "Fucking Elliot." He said, "I walked in, and Doc Cotton was just looking at me, and that was it. I'm going. No, I'm not going in there." Doc Cotton, and he's
So just to backtrack to a comment you made before, what was the mindset behind leaving a very well respected job at Aerospace? That must have been a daunting task. What brought you to that point?
Well, you know what? I did a few gigs. Oh, mate, Nick Hawkes, who I mentioned before, he set me up with a few gigs down London, and I think it was almost like, you know, old school. Well, not that my dad ever did this or anybody's dad did this, but you know, like, you want to learn to swim? Bush, fucking get in there. Yeah, it was a bit like that. So he set us up with a gig at the Shaman. They had a club, and we played on there. And then he set us up with a gig at Energy Docklands. The third gig we ever did was in front of 10,000 fucking people at the Energy Docklands. So,
Jesus.
and we just did Live the Dream. And I did it live on my keyboard. There were no DAT machines out like then. I had a backing 4-track tape machine, like a Porter Studio. And I was playing an 808 State were on, who were massive, a Damsky, Guru, Josh and all that. But then he put us on at this one gig. I'm coming to the mindset of why I left, because there is a connection here. But we did this one gig at, he got us a slot between, In Spiral Carpets, who were an indie band. And then there was they had a support band called North. And then he got us this little slot in between, right? Dream Frequency. So we go to this club. They're all like baggy jeans. It's not really house, but I'm like, fucking hell. So I just lived the dream, quite pleasantly received.
Yeah.
But then, like knobheads, we did 2 more, like piano stuff. And I remember finishing, right? And I'm like, what's that noise? And I swear to fucking God, no. It was just boom.
Yeah.
It really knocked me off my feet, mate.
Oh my goodness.
So they had an emblem of a cow in Spiral Carpets.
Yeah, that's right.
And bless it, this roadie guy who set up, he must have thought, Paula, and he goes, don't worry, our kid, they're not booing you, they're mooing you. I know. So we went into this pub afterwards, and Nick, we were dissecting what had happened, and we're like, and Nick goes, listen, if you can handle that, mate, you can handle anything. And he was right. He was right. So anyway, back to the aerospace wire left. So I remember going to the sound check with the Spiral Carpets at that gig. And the keyboard player was a guy called Clint. Didn't know him. I don't really know him now, but he was really helpful. And I said to him, do you mind me asking, like, how did you know when to leave your job? How do you know, like, and he said, Ian, you'll just know. You'll just know. So to answer your question in a convoluted way, I was doing gigs and I was earning at the time, say my wage at aerospace was like, I don't know, 180 quid a week or whatever. I was earning like 400 or 500 quid sometimes on these gigs. So there's a bit of that going on. And I remember at the time I'd just got an album deal, and it was just feeling like I needed to leave to fill in all this shit I had to do with thingy. So I took all my loo days, all my holiday days up to East. I remember one of the foremen saying, "You're a daft lad, Bland." He didn't always leave. He's like, "You took all your holidays. You're gonna have no holidays left." And then I had to take like an unpaid day, and I've never been in trouble at work before. And then the top boss had actually called me into the office to give me a bit of a, no, we're not happy with this. You're taking a lot of days off and all that. And I went, can I just interrupt you there, Tony? I'm going to leave. And then he went, you could see his face just go, oh, thank fuck, that's one other.
Saves us a fucking job.
Yeah. So on good terms and all that, but that was the decision. But like I said, going back to what I said earlier, when I'd started this album, they give you like, it was a lot of money at the time. It was about a year's wage. I think with the publishing deal was 10 grand and the album was about 10 grand. So that was like over a year's wage.
And
so
this is early 90s when 20 grand was a lot of fucking money, wasn't it?
Fucking money, yeah. And, so I thought, well, if I get this album done, at least I've got a year to do it. Do you know what I mean? And give it a go. And so, but when I'd spent 700 quid in studio, and with this other singer, and even with Debbie, and I clocked up about 900 quid, and they only give you like two or 3 grand advance at start.
Yeah.
And then Nick goes, no, I'm not feeling it. And if I was like, fucking hell,
Time, isn't it?
Yeah. But like I said, we got through it. So it was brave, I think. Yeah, but
see, when you got signed to XL Records, what year was this?
So this would have been 1990 was City Beat. I never got on XL. It was always a bit of a bone of contention because you always felt like a bit of Cinderella. You fuckers on XL. And because we were kind of in with Hypergorgo and more piano-y. We're there when we were a little bit more ragga-tip and a bit more southern. So there was always, we always had that chip on our shoulder a bit of like, oh yeah, fucking Northern. When you look back now, it's just bollocks in it. But you do feel a bit aggrieved sometimes. Like, you've got your XL jacket. Where's fucking City Beats jacket?
Yeah. So your follow-up single to Feel So Real was Take Me, and that got to 39 in the UK charts. Still top 40. Still fucking respectable numbers.
No, I know. And there was an accident with Feel Surreal pressing, which got us on top of the pops, because I went down to do Feel Surreal and attend the Cup. and I thought it needed a bit more bass in. And as it turns out, I should have listened to the engineer. So Feel Surreal would have come out in December with all the Christmas shit and probably would have never charted.
Exactly, yeah.
So it was a happy accident. But then on the flip side, there was something with the artwork or something happened with Take Me, and it delayed it by a week. And if it hadn't, it would have been HMV's featured track, and it probably would have done again another thingy.
Right.
But it is what it is. To be honest, I think Take Me is probably the one that stood the test, maybe over Feel Surreal. I don't know, but yeah.
So over the years, you've been in many different collaborations. You've mentioned Rob Teixeira before. We've got here Paul Fitzpatrick, Beat Renegades. There's your Red Arena. How did all they come out? That just like in the industry, mixing with different people.
Yeah, Nipper, DJ Nipper. So yeah, I met Nipper back in the day, and yeah, I love him. He's in Hong Kong now. He's me and him just fucking again. You're just talking on phone, just laughing and taking the piss and all that lot. And yeah, we just started doing the tracks together, and that just became like, you know, eventually I produced some stuff for him, helped him do a couple of tracks, and we worked really well, and then we ended up just doing du jour for quite a while.
And how did you go on?
No, he's really meticulous, Nipper, like, you know what I mean? It's great because he's one of them I could just, right, I'm off for a brew or whatever, and he's fucking fiddling around like that, you know.
So how did you first meet Rob Teixeira?
I first met Rob.
Bobby T.
Bobby T. Oh, mate. He's just my bestie. I mean, fuck me. I've told him, right, and I'll put this on the records, I've said, it's dark as fuck, this, isn't it? But you know, when you get to a certain age, I said, mate, if I check out before you're carrying me coffee. And he went, mate, 100%.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I said,
lovely, that.
Do the same for me.
Yeah. You went, fuck off.
Fuck off. Drop it. You roll out. Oh, mate. So I did a gig in Bridlington, and it would have been about 92. And I'm just painting the scene. I always paint the scene of this gig, right? So anybody who wasn't around there, we were lucky enough for me to sort of be back then. But there was two different worlds going on. So we'd done a gig in Scotland. It's a bank holiday. It's a lovely bank holiday Monday. We arrive in Bridlington. We're fresh from this rave in Scotland. Picture the scene. Lovely seaside town. There's kids holding mum and dad's hand. Ice creams are being licked, blah, blah, blah. We're coming there, ponytail. Where's it? How do we get into
Bomber jackets on.
yeah, fucking, yeah, even in summer. Bomber jackets on, blah, blah, blah. So my mate goes round. He goes, they're going to open the side door. So we're stood here, and I'm waiting with my keyboard. And this, you know, profound moments, and just what I described, you know, when you're thinking, we're in a different world here. They just don't know what's going on. And literally, they're all doing the holiday thing, and these doors opened, right? Smoke's coming out, rave music's coming out, and I'm gonna do it here. There's people fucking sat against the wall with the jaws going. And I was like, we're on a different thing. So as I just walked in, Rob comes bounding up to me, and he went, all right, you dream for? I went, yeah. And he went, oh, I'm Rob Teixeira, like, I'm DJing. I'm like, all right, nice one. He went, do you mind me saying, do you think you should make your records a bit more mixable? And I was a bit like, I didn't take any offense. I know I didn't take any offense, but I thought, yeah, what have I even fucking thought of that? Because, like you say, we never even thought.
And you don't. If you're a producer, you don't cater for the DJ. You're making music. You're not making it to be mixed. You're just making it. You're making it.
Yeah, so you know, I kind of took that on board, and then me and Rob ended up working together, and we did Asher remixes and all sorts of stuff. But I'm laughing to myself because I'm thinking, oh yeah, I took it on board. I fucking released Good Times that had no intro. I don't think it might have had a beat intro, and then the fucking One Nation. I started it with no beats, and did a fucking time change. Like,
I'm a locally special.
Oh, mate, yeah, exactly. And I remember Tom Wilson, bless him, he passed away quite a few years ago, but he was like massive in the Scotland scene up there. He was like the Stu Allen of Scotland, mate. Yeah. And he was like so supportive, but he went, Ian, I fucking got to tell you, I can't fucking mix it. I think all the Dream Frequency tracks are either deck stop bastards or first track or last track, aren't they? Sorry, guy. Oh, sorry, DJ. Right, yeah,
So
Jesus.
how did Dancing Divas go? I didn't know you were Dancing Divas until quite recently.
A
How
lot
did
of
that
people.
come about?
A lot
Your remix of Dana Dawson, Thea's Family, is by far the best house tune out there. By far. I'm not a big house fan, but I absolutely fucking love that tune. I love that remix. And I never knew until recently it was you.
Oh, cheers, mate. Well, so around 94, a guy called Nick Worthington joined XL Records. And we were sending tracks, but they weren't really being received very well. I don't know if I'd lost my way a little bit, because as you evolve, you kind of end up following trends a little bit, you know. And I'd say the one thing I should have done is stuck to my guns. I should have just gone, no, Dream Frequency's full on, high energy, rave. But you've got to think that, you know yourself, at 1993, it was going jungle, rave, and then it was going house music, Sasha, you know, and even by 94, it was going fucking into progressive house. It was all splintering off. So you were a little bit like, oh, and Scotland was going hard, Scotland was, and with the drum and all that, it was tough, you know, fucking
techno and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
And then the Gabba was coming out with bass generator, and you're a bit like, what the fuck do I make here? So I was a bit lost, and I think I felt like I lost a little bit of identity. Anyway, Nick joined, and Richard Russell, the other guy, because Nick Hawkes had left XL then, Nick Worthington came, and Richard Russell, who became the head of A&R, he said, why don't you do some tracks with Ian? Like, so Nick came up, and we worked really well, and we thought, you know what? Yeah, we'll do this. So he was my other half, and he was fucking brilliant, mate. He never played a note, but his ideas were mint. Yeah. And that track you're on about, he'd come in. So like Rob used to, because I wasn't a DJ as such, I was a producer, and I used to go out clubbing and I was listening to the sound, but they were extra on point. This is coming in. Have you checked this? We need a beat like this? And I'd be going, no problem, let's do it. And he said, I don't know what the inspiration was, and I'm trying to wonder if it was I Believe. If I Believe came out before Three's Family, you know, that I Believe.
Yeah.
After, I don't know, but he'd heard this gospel record. It might have been you know, because we need a beat like, you know, like
it's the clap, it's the intro that makes it.
And we used to have these sample CDs were in their infancy, so we were sampling off vinyl, you know, for beats and sounds and loops, and obviously making your own. And he'd just write down. He used to go through the sample CDs and he'd go, right, we need that one to do it right. Blandy, get him in sample, get him in sampler and all that. And he had like this crowd off this sample CD that we got, and it was just going, oh yeah, woo, with the claps, the gospel feel. And then we started playing and jamming it in and all the rest of it. And then it just turned out. But I remember Tiempo had done a mix, and they'd done kind of a traditional mix.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody had said, and they probably weren't saying it in a nasty way, but I remember that it got back to us that they'd heard our mix, and their actual words were, what the fuck are them guys on? And I loved that. I thought that was fucking brilliant. That was brilliant. But he had some, he drove that as much as me, you know, the Dancing Divas. Yeah. And that's how it came about. So I was kind of Dream Frequency in a bit, but that was tailing off a bit. And then it was Dancing Divas. But the weirdest thing about the Dancing Divas is I just had a young family then. So, you know, I just had my first lad in 95, so I wasn't going out, so I never got to enjoy any of them out, and we weren't asked about DJing because we were earning really good money doing remixes. So he'd come up for 2 weeks, we'd do 3 remixes, and then Nick could go back and do his XL Records job. Then I'd have 2 weeks to do my family shit. So it was so blessed to do that. And then, you know, for people like obviously yourselves and that to go, oh, fuck me, them tunes are amazing.
Like I say, I'm not a big house music fan. I actually DJ'd at the weekend at a boxing show, and it's a bit one of them. It's a bit hit and miss. You don't know what to play. It was a younger crowd, so I was playing like a bit of bounce and some old school. And I went through my house folder, and that was the first track I played. Like I said, I'm not big on house, but I've got a lot of memories of that track from back in the day. And I just love the intro. The claps, it has got that gospel-y feel. It just makes you want to tap your feet. And really, absolutely love it. Hand on heart, love it. So you mentioned there, Dream Frequency kind of like that. And then obviously there's an old school resurgence now, which has been going on for probably about 5 years. So Z frequency is probably, I'm guessing, on the way back up now. Yeah.
100%. I mean, it's weird, I mean, we're all sort of like, and I keep saying this word thankful, but we are really thankful to be able to, perform and all the rest of it. And like, I mean, look at like K Class, us, Shades, Thingy, all them, we're in demand. I do see some comments sometimes, and I totally feel the frustration of, like some DJs or people or go like, oh, it's just the same bands, and it's so. But there's a reason for that, and I'm not saying that in any egotistical way, but it's just we're just fortunate to have had a bit of legacy, and it's like you've got to make your own thing. Do you know what I mean?
If you have an 80s revival, it's going to be the bands who were big in the 80s. You're not going to have some obscure band that no one remembered from the 80s. So when you're having the 90s revival, it's going to be the likes of yourselves and Entrance and Ultrasonic and, Shades of Rhythm, all the Awesome 3, all the bands that were big in the 90s. All the bands that were big in the 90s, they're who's going to come through. That's just the way it is, isn't it? You're not going to get someone who had a fucking one-hit wonder or wasn't a success.
Yeah, I mean, and I just feel like, like the DJing for me came later, and I'm so glad I did it because I didn't really have an interest, but now I absolutely love it. In fact, I prefer it to be. I mean, what's not to the? I get to play my own shit, and I get to play all the other bangers, and I still get to shout shit on the mic. Not to love.
That's one of my points. Is how did that come about? That just come out organically through obviously getting booked to do PAs, and I'll do a DJ set as well. When did you first start to get a passion for DJing and mixing and stuff like that?
Well, I tell you what, honest to God, right? Anybody who's been there and played on vinyl and all the rest, I'm not a vinyl DJ, and I say this to people, and they're, no, you are a DJ, Blandy, because you did. But I'm still, if you're a vinyl, I'm like fucking that shit. I mean, I reckon I could learn to do it, but it's
a lot harder. Like there's so much easier on digital, so much easier.
Yeah, and then there is that absolute debate, and I totally get all that. But like, listen, my mate Rob, he'll tell you he wouldn't go back to vinyl just because it gives you more expression if you use the technology right. You can program a set, you can take people where you want. Do you know what I mean? But I had an absolute fear of that DJing. I mean, I'm just thinking back now to the DJ, Dancing Divas, when somebody said, oh, you need to go. I mean, if we'd have gone out as Dancing Divas alongside you, Jeremy Healy's and all that, we'd have made a fucking fortune. But both of us were like,
nah.
We're not sure about that because it was raft. That was big balls to do that. So yeah, I started doing it probably about 12 years ago now. But yeah, fucking hell. As every DJ knows, it's a proper tread in the boards. I've had shit happen, and just even now, you know yourself, Jay, you could be DJing and the fucking equipment's going wrong, and you're giving it's all going fucking ace, and you're going off.
Yeah, behind the scenes, you fucking assholes doing that.
Oh, turn it, and then you stop the wrong fucking track.
Oh, mate. Well, I had a similar situation on Saturday. Obviously, I'm DJing at this boxing event, and I've got various different flash drives with various different playlists in. And I've got one off the guy who's running the night for the entrance music. And I looked at me fucking thing, and there was 2 green SanDisk flash drives. And I'm thinking, shit, which one's which? And they were both flashing. I thought, fuck, if I press the wrong one here, the music's going to go off. He's just asked me from Metallica then to Sandman. It's not on them. I'm like, what the fuck? Luckily, I pressed the right one anyway. But yeah. So we touched on something before we started recording about lockdown. So how did lockdown affect you?
So, I mean, yeah, my bread and butter is producing, for other people and helping them across the line in all formats. So, like, when lockdown came, I was like, because people were coming to the studio, you know what I mean? And I was like, fucking hell. Now, I have been doing a few Zoom things, but there was nothing, like it was like just using it through the mic. Well, what do you sound like? So we want the best quality. So for a week or two, like everybody else, it was like, fucking hell, we're in the shit here. What's going on? End of the world kind of thing. And then I found this plugin that I've been using called Audio Movers, and you can put it at the end of your Ableton or Logic. And if I wanted to send you what we're doing, you can see my screen, you can see me, and you can hear it totally quality via this your browser, via this thing. So that really helped me out. And then after a week or two, I mean, I know a lot of people struggled, and I feel a bit guilty saying, but I had one of the best years because I think people just sat at home with, you know, and just bored, and like some people had even got money for sitting at home, you know, and they thought, fuck it, I'll just make a tune with Blandy. Like, so then we also took the opportunity, because it was somebody had mentioned it was 30 years of Dream Frequency. And I hadn't done anything in anger. And there was a guy who helped me with the singer who I've got now, Cherie Hartle, who's because Debbie's kind of retired now in the States, bless her. But this Cherie, fucking hell, mate, she can sing, man. She's
That's the lady Jenny was talking to outside the Legends Arena at Reminisce.
Oh, mate, she's amazing, and she's so easy to work with and all that. So I was thinking, I'm doing this album, and Mark Pickup, who does events in Southport and whatnot, he was saying, because I was having a bit of I was doing new stuff, like sort of house stuff, and I said, God, it's really hard to, you know, shout above the noise. And he went, Blandy, you are Dream Frequency. Why the fuck are you not doing some new Dream Frequency stuff? So you know what, Jay? Through that period, 2019, and then into lockdown, I just started thinking, right, I'm going to write some new Dream Frequency stuff, and I'm just going to write some fucking rave shit that I love. And I'm not even going to think, is he going to like it? Is that DJ? I'm just going to do it. And I had the best time doing that. And I'm really proud of that album. And, you know, and we just put it out in lockdown, and it just blew up. We did just a Kickstarter, because I know that I'd seen that DJ Seduction had done it. You know, and we made a few quid, and we made a legacy. You know, we proper put the artwork in, and it was wrapped in tissue paper with dream, because my missus is like Charlotte, she's like designer, so she proper got on that, and a booklet, and it was just a real good,
like an old school, like you get
attention to detail.
The thing is that with now as well, like I can remember being, you know, in my fucking teen years, and you'd buy like an AC/DC CD, and you'd open it up, and you'd have the, you know, the CD in there and the booklet, and there'd be little pictures and the lyrics and all that. And you felt like you were getting a product. Now you just download it off fucking Beatport, all right. That's not the same, is it? You want a product, you want a little box and all that, don't you? It's fucking mad.
Well, I posted on Facebook a couple of days ago, like, about vinyl. I mean, I'm not a massive vinyl collector, but I love, even when I was like going back to me fucking Gary Newman days, like you say, you'd buy it and you'd look at the lyrics and you'd look who's done it, and
gatefold LPs.
I could spell it. I'd be like, there's a spell to it. It was ace, mate. Yeah. So honestly, that was ace to do. I think I'll do some more tracks soon. I mean, it's due. But yeah, I love doing that. So that lockdown was a bit of a, I mean, God, for everybody, it was just fucking bizarre.
So one last point before we go to our quick fire questions. How did the collaboration with Mallorca Lee come in? Mallorca Lee, for those who don't know, is the main man behind Ultrasonic.
Yeah, so me and Mallorca obviously known each other for ages, and he's got his 1994, and we've had many discussions about us meeting. And just the first time I ever seen Ultrasonic, right, was 1994. We were playing Resurrection, and they come on after us, right? So, I mean, a lot of the Scottish bands were looking at us, Shades, Enjoy, and all that, and then taking their interpretations. So I'd kind of mellowed out a little bit. I was a bit lost in anyway. So, and then these come on, and I remember just thinking, the fuck are these fucking little the fucking smart one. I'm like, fucking hell, these fair dudes. But we never really spoke, not in any nasty way or anything. We just never really knew each other, paths and cross and whatever. So then obviously when I got to know Mal, fuck me, mate, he's like my Scottish brother from another. Me and him are just like funny. So because we'd done like the Dream Frequency, at the same time I was giving him advice and vice versa, because he brought out this Ultrasonic album that had never been released. So we both had albums out. So then we said, should we just do let's do a fucking super band. We did, and like I'm surprised we got it finished, because we were half the time we were just laughing and taking the piss, you know. But I've so much love for Mal, mate. He's fucking brilliant. And what a showman. Even now,
God, even now. I mean, even now, right? When I met you there,
you know the drill, mate. He's straight as a die. Once he puts that fucking bobble hat on, mate, and I video him, right, and then I'll cut to the feet, and his feet are just fucking dancing and all that. He's amazing.
Right, I've kept you for long enough now, Ian. I'm going to finish off now with some quick fire questions because I know you've got other projects to get on to. So,
Go on.
Ian Bland's dream frequency. I will take your first answer and your first answer only.
Go on.
Alive or dead, who would you like to spend time in the studio with?
David Bowie.
Rice pudding, hot or cold?
Hot.
What do you prefer? I think you've already answered this, but what do you prefer better, DJing or production?
Oh, fucking hell, that is hard. I can't answer that one. Both. I have to say both. That is hard.
If you won the Euro Millions tomorrow, what would be your first purchase? It's Monday today, so you could actually win it tomorrow.
I'd probably get a bigger. I get a big house somewhere in the sun and put a fuck off studio in it and invite everybody over to make tracks.
Yeah, cool. I'll look out for my email tomorrow. Then. What's your worst habit?
Procrastination, is it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, procrastination. Yeah.
Look it up in the dictionary. It's
Yeah,
not.
if you don't know what it is, spend half an hour looking for it.
I'm like, I am fucking hell, mate. I'm like Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Donuts.
You're on death row. What's your last meal?
Spag bol.
What annoys you?
Injustice.
A skill you'd wish you'd learned when you were a kid?
How to play the piano. Even though I can play all right.
I'm going to say, you've
People
made a
see-
career out of it, you cunt.
I know, honestly, people see me and then they go, and I listen, I can find the chords and all that, but I still use technology to help me out, but because, whatever. But I'd love to play absolute fluently, yeah, I'd love to do that.
What do you prefer, small clubs or huge events?
I want to say small clubs.
Better vibe, isn't it? On chips, curry or gravy?
Gravy.
What scares you?
Probably supernatural, ghosty kind of things.
What superpower would you have?
I've thought about this quite a lot. I'd love to stop time. I'd love to stop time. Like that film Click and Rewind. But I'd fucking waste my life. Stop time. Make a million tracks. Learn to play fucking piano, guitar. And then just go.
Yeah. Rocky 3 or Rocky 4?
Rocky 1.
It is good, to be fair. Like, favorite swear word or insult?
Cunt. That's bad, isn't it?
Really, I love it. On chips, mayonnaise or red sauce?
Red sauce.
Top Boy or Ozark?
I never got into both of them. Sopranos,
Really?
I'd say.
Wow.
Sopranos, original Sopranos.
Listen, go and watch out Ozark. Honest to God, trust me, and it's fucking fun. And so Top Boy, to be fair. Really
do you know what, Jay? We were looking at Top Boy last night. I've got to persuade my missus as well because it's a two-way thing, in it. But we sometimes we'll get halfway in a series. Like we got Ozark, we did series 2 or series 1, and we're like, and I go, no, you need to get past it. But sometimes you just don't get past it. So yeah.
Boxing or UFC?
Ooh. I love them both, but probably boxing.
And the final question, what's the best podcast you've ever been on?
Jay Viper!
Hey! Ian
mate.
Bland, Dream Frequency, thank you so much for this. Any shouts or dedications you want to put out there?
Always to the ravers and anybody who supported the scene, basically, not just us, just the scene, and keeps it going. People like yourselves, and yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll sure I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you very much, guys. As I say this every podcast now, I don't know who or what's next. I've got a pretty good idea who's next. Can't mention nothing yet, but yeah, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does do me some justice. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Ian. Thank you very much, guys.